You like airplane stuff, and so do I, and you're here to get more value out of this channel. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about the instrument panel on my airplane. Not just what's on it, not just how we made it, but all the thought process that went behind the finished product that we now have in 8636 mic, my P35 Bonanza. I've already done one video called Can I Make My Own Instrument Panel? How will it work? I'll link it in the description and I'll put it in one of the clicky bars up to the top right of this video, I believe. Go and click on that and see how we got the panel made by a company called Send Cut Send. But for right now, let's hop over onto my computer and I'll show you some of the files that I used to create exactly what came out of Send Cut Send. Okay, we're over in a now familiar piece of software to most of you who've been following the channel. I know a lot of you still don't know how to drive a CAD program, and that's okay. This is not a channel that's going to teach you how to drive CAD. There's tons of those out on YouTube for free. Go and make yourself better. What you're looking at here is the entire instrument panel for the P35 Bonanza. It's the pilot side, the avionics rack, and the blanking plate over on the co-pilot side. Let me just walk you through some of the features that we're having here. We have a big cutout here for the yoke, so I don't have to mess with any of the structure around the yoke and the yoke mechanism. We've got holes for the flaps and holes for the gear. We have holes for all of the various types of avionics that are going to stay with the airplane, or new ones that we've put in, like the new JPI EDM 830, I believe is the name of the engine instrument, but that now goes here. We've moved around some switches and some buttons. For the most part, though, everything is within reach and where it was before we took the panel apart. I hope that part makes sense. That's why the layout ended up the way it did. Now, if I zoom in and rotate this panel, we have some additional detail at the back. I created this bent up piece or a tray that will now hold various types of electronics behind the panel. It's currently hosting the GDL88. There are already holes built into the mount legs right there, the bottom of that right there. And I also built or made or designed these avionics rails and had rivet holes pre-drilled by Send Cut Send, so when I got this thing, all I needed to do was just rivet it together. We ended up countersinking the rivets on the front so that it would be a little bit more flush. I may try to show you that in the future. Send Cut Send was also able to drill these holes out or laser these holes out so that this tray that I designed would just fit up in the back and we could put hardware behind it and it would just, screw right in. I created some holes down here for circuit breakers, and then all the other holes you see around the perimeter of these panels are for mounting it to the aircraft using nut plates or riv nuts or something like that. There's a slot here so that I didn't have to disturb my push-to-talk cable, and let's see if there's anything else worth talking about. Oh, if you look at this avionics design, there is a joggle, there is a Z, a bend, so that the avionics, like the GTN 750, get aimed toward the user, the pilot. It just gets aimed towards me at some very subtle angle. It's not really that much, but it's just a very nice subtle angle. Now you could take that joggle out. Most panels in modern day airplanes are going to have just a flat panel, but I wanted to go back with that little bit of an angle. It helps me see the screen and reach over and touch the screen as well. It will not get in the way of the mechanism behind the airplane if you just mount it straight on. You have to be a little bit careful, but it should clear just fine. Okay, that is the CAD model of the panel. I'm not selling this CAD model, at least not yet. I don't have drawings for it yet, but eventually I'll get it stored on the interwebs for everyone to see and appreciate. Now, how I got here, you should go and look at the recent video I did on the twin Comanche. It will show you how we used modern tools to put something like this together. I'm using SolidWorks one-handed. I'm holding a microphone, so this is getting a little bit challenging. Let me turn all that stuff on and turn these things off. Sorry, my computer is struggling. It's a really cheap laptop. Okay, there we go. I had a 3D scan of the instrument panel of the airplane, and I created a panel on top of it. I'm not going to walk through how we did that. I just posted a video a couple days ago from the Comanche Facebook group, or sorry, the Comanche build, not Facebook group, the Comanche build that we're doing right now. And that should take care of a lot of your questions about how I did this. Now, if I zoom in, you'll see something really interesting. Let me just click on the panel so you can differentiate it from the 3D scan. If you look very closely, a lot of the instruments align where they were before. That's the engine instrument there, that's the autopilot, that's the old JPI. And you can see the mounting holes for the various screws are, they're exactly where they are supposed to be, right? So you can see right there, that's a mounting hole, that's a mounting screw, that's a mounting screw. It's exactly where it's supposed to be. And I did that intentionally because I wanted this to be a quote-unquote fast project. I didn't want to spend too much time having to redo paperwork to cut into the panel and change the structure of the aircraft. So I decided to not modify the panel at all. Now, if you're not using a modern tool like a 3D scanner, you're not going to be able to get this level of detail from an avionics installer. It would take entirely too much time. You'd get billed maybe double what the project is worth just to have that kind of alignment. But you see even the GPS or the autopilot buttons, the switches for the avionics master, the lights for the landing gear and flap indicator, the cutout for the push-to-talk switch or cable, they're all aligned perfectly so that I wouldn't have to drill or move anything. I also lined up things like the suction gauge and the HSI adjuster and punched a hole right here for, I believe, the ELT, because I knew at that time that, let's turn this off, this cosmetic panel right here, that's under my mouse, it's hard to see, but it's under my mouse, that was going away, and there's an empty space behind it. It's just a Velcroed on piece that I put on to cover an old hole from the previous owner. And then this part of the panel, this upper part where my mouse is boxing in, where the attitude indicator and the HSI are, and the primary instruments, that part is non-structural. It's a floating piece that just comes off with, I think, 6 or 7 screws. So I knew I have a lot of clear space in that area, but I did not have the desire to cut the panel over here on the right side. Same thing goes for over here on the pilot side. I didn't really make any modifications to it, I just left it blank, and I knew that there was empty space behind it that I could put that tray for the GDL88. I hope that makes sense. Go ahead and look at that Comanche video because it really does walk you through how I 3D scan a thing and then bring it into SolidWorks, draw the thing out, and then eventually end up with something like this. If we step through the various steps, you see I started with a blank panel. Let me try to close this off. Yeah, there we go. Started with a blank panel, drew the avionics holes. I just sketched them all out. I measured everything, and these holes are standard, but some of them aren't. I had to measure the actual equipment that came out of the airplane. And then eventually we did the light holes and push-to-talk pass-throughs, various other cuts. Oh, you may be looking here and going, oh, that's really close to the edge. That's really bad design. But remember, this front panel is being backed up by structure behind it. So even though the switch is, it looks like the switch is going to be biting on a very small piece of aluminum right here. That would be really bad design if I was doing this from scratch. It's actually biting into the sub panel, the panel that's in the airplane, existing in the airplane already. So I might be a little bit confusing, but that was the design philosophy behind this panel design. I didn't want to have to rewire the master avionics switches. The wiring was cut to length. There was no service loop or anything that I could have pulled it over. It was already right where it needed to be. I didn't want to disturb anything, so I just put them right back. Just like that. And then from that point on, we did a couple more things. We added breakers and holes and other stuff, right? So that's what we ended up with. And we did a very similar process for the center panel. You can see the joggle in the center panel. I just drew it out and used SolidWorks to make some bends, and Send Cut Send will bend stuff for you. So There's another disclaimer or plug for Send Cut Send. They're really good at what they do. You could use them for some of your projects. All right, let's get back into some video stuff. All right, so we got the panel. I got permission from my A&P to take the avionics off of the floating panel, and we ended up with a panel that looks like this. This was just a dry test, a dry fit test, to make sure that we got everything perfectly. All the holes would fit and everything, and looks like it did. So we moved on to the next step. So we're just dry fitting this avionics rack. Audio panel is a GMA 350C, GTN 750 for GPS and VOR, ILS, COM, everything. Then we have a COM, a GNC 215, and then this will be for the existing GTX 327, because I don't have any money to update this one, so we're just adding a GDL 88. Maybe in the future, I may, swap this out for something like a GTX 345 or something else. I don't know, but yeah, it's seeming to fit up fine. That looks really cool. That could be art. I'll sell this for $5,000. That gets me halfway to a used something piece of avionics. $5,000, you can have that piece of artwork hanging in your living room. Messed up in two spots, right there and right there. It's still a little tacky, so we're gonna let it go a little bit longer. Okay, let me explain what's going on here. I had a thought initially that I was going to paint this aluminum panel black and then engrave directly onto it using my at-home cheap Glowforge laser cutter. Well, actually what I ended up doing was wrapping the entire airplane panel anyway, so I just went ahead and tried out this new product from this company. The same guys that make the Plastidip product, but this is supposed to be a permanent paint. It really turned out great. It sprayed great. It dried really smooth, minus the places that I messed up. But the problem is, wrap wants to stick to smooth, glossy surfaces, not the satin black that you're seeing in that video. So I had to take it all off. I sanded it all back down and I polished the aluminum, not to a mirror finish, but just enough for the vinyl wrap to stick over it. And we ended up with something like this. Does that look familiar? I think it does. And we've got it wrapped. It's smooth, no more imperfections all over the place because I took the paint off. And now I'm gonna fold the corners over, fold the edges over, and cut out the instrument holes. Now we gotta cut out the instrument holes and keep moving. You'll note on the back, the key to wrapping this successfully is making these scalloped cuts. So relief cuts like that. And the curves. In the straightaways, that's not a problem. But on the curves, you need to make some relief cuts and then heat it up a little bit to get that material to curve over. I'm not a pro at wrapping stuff. I've just kind of experimented and that's what worked out the best. So let's continue. And continue we did, because this is essentially the finished product. We also had to wrap the co-pilot side, and that was a little bit easier because you're not, 8 or 10 instrument holes that we had to cut out. That one was pretty straightforward. We wrapped the center section as well, where the avionics rack is, and that all turned out really, really good. This is also wrapped. You're using a vinyl instead of paint, so that if I'm not happy with this color, I can go back in the near future and rewrap it or decide to paint it. But I want to see how this stands up in that airplane, so I can help you make a decision if this is even worth your time, because it's really not a lot of money. It's probably $20 worth of material to do the whole panel, but no runs, no bubbles, and You can change it as your mood and your style changes. I think that's a pretty good gig. So I'd give wrapping a thumbs up over painting. Now I can change the color of the wrap. I can put placards directly on top of it. It's easy to clean because it's an automotive style wrap. It's going to do really well with chemicals or the sun, or it's built to be outside for years and years with minor amounts of care. Now I can't engrave directly onto it, not with the machinery that I have, but I can make my own placards and put them on top. That's just fine. So wrapping is looking pretty good. Okay, let's park this spaceship. I think wrapping is a go. It's a win. I will be doing it on a future project, I'm sure, and I will wrap other pieces in the airplane to make them look nicer. I think it's something that a owner can do with a weekend's worth of time, and it will make a huge difference in the aircraft. If you didn't catch it before, the ignition switch on the left side of the aircraft, I also wrapped in the same color as the instrument panel just to have a little bit of an accent. How much did it cost? The wrap was really only 25 bucks. I didn't need to paint it, and then the instrument panel was about $100 or $150 from Send Cut Send, not counting my own time. I really think you would like this project if you were to do it on a future upgrade for yourself. I have a 15-minute long one-cut explainer video about what went wrong with the spray painting and things I learned about the strength of the wrap. I tried to scratch it with some keys and heated it up to see how resilient it was to scratching, and it really held up well. I'll post that in about a week, just as its own little video, because this video has gotten so long already. I hope you are doing well. Please remember to take your medication, whatever they are. Do not comment on what they are in the comments down below. We don't want to know those details. And we will catch you again soon.